also reflected from this curve. Okay, so slope is changing. That is the MRC. Okay, now coming to STBC. Okay, now STBC, what we are doing, this is simulation and theory. So that is just only one curve we can consider. Let's simulation. Two antenna at the transmitter, one antenna at the receiver. So can you find out the difference between this curve and this curve, black curve? Can anyone comment on that?
Sir, in black one, the number of transmitting antennas is 1 and receiving is 2, and vice versa is there in pink one.
Yeah. So thing is that if you can see the both curves, slope of both curves are same. You can see that is the gain, that is the difference between these two curves is same. It's here, then here. So slope is not changing. That is a good thing. So slope is not changing. So when slope of the curves are not changing, that meaning is that diversity order in this pink one and the black one is same. So diversity order is not changing. Okay.
So it is independent of the number of transmitting and receiving antennas, is it?
Yeah, definitely. Why? Because in the black case, we have a two paths at the receiver, and this one we have a two time slot. We are transmitting the same information in 2 time slot. You can see that.
Yes.
Here, in this here, first time slot we are sending x1 and x2. Second time slot we are also sending x1 and x2. Same information, only the conjugate. So same information is transmitted twice. So that's why we have a diversity order 2 here. Okay. So diversity order in this black curve is 2 and the pink one is also 2. So slope of both curves are same. So diversity order is the same. Only coding gain is different. Here you can see the coding gain at 10 to power minus 3 you can achieve around 12, and 10 power 3 you can achieve around this may be 11, then this may be 14. Okay, so 11 and 14. So you have a coding gain, 3 dB gain. So MRC, when you have a multiple antenna at the receiver and you are using the MRC, you have better coding gain than the LMOT scheme. Okay, so that's the 3 dB gain difference is there. So why this 3 dB gain difference is there? Better coding gain in MRC scheme, because when you transmitting the information, you are transmitting information in 2 time slot. Okay, so your total energy is split between 2 time slot. So suppose you have a total energy is P, then you divide first time slot P by 2 and second time slot again P by 2. So when energy is going to half or power is going to half, that time you have a 3 dB gain difference. So that's why this 3 dB gain is coming in MRC. So MRC performance 3 dB better, because the MRC whole energy is assigned in the single time slot, but in this LMOT scheme, energy is divided between 2 time slots. That's why 3 dB gain difference. Okay. So LMOT scheme has the same diversity order as the MRC scheme. Only drawback is that LMOT scheme is that power is going to split among the multiple time slots, okay, or between 2 time slots. Okay. In MRC scheme, drawback is that you need channel information, but in this case we don't need any channel information in LMOT. Okay, at transmitter side we are not using any transmitter information, channel information. Okay, so that is the good thing in LMOT scheme. So LMOT scheme, you can achieve the diversity gain without considering the channel knowledge. Okay, so that is the good thing in LMOT scenario. Okay. So my just I take home message here is that by looking the slope of the curves or shifting of the curves, we can comment on the diversity order as well as the coding gain of the system. Okay, so if you have a steep slope, you have a higher diversity order, and a shifting take place, that will tell us the coding gain. Okay, so is any question here? Is any question?
No, sir, nothing in the chat box.
Okay. Can you see this IRS?
Yes, sir. It is, yes, sir. Intelligent reflecting surface.
Yeah. Actually, I haven't discussed this one in the slides earlier lecture. So I'm just giving the overview what is the intelligent reflecting surface and how we can use them. So IRS, intelligent reflecting surface, are targeting people for 6G wireless communication scenario. So the whole idea is that suppose you have a intelligent reflecting surface that may be mounted on the walls or some large building. Okay, then signal is reflected. Okay, then we will reach the destination. This is the source and the destination. Okay. Till now, from 1 to 5G, we are considering that wireless channel we cannot control. We can control the transmitter design, we can control the receiver design, but physical property of the channel we cannot control. Okay, but IRS scenario, what people thinking that we can control the wireless channel if we put intelligent reflecting surface on the some buildings. Okay, sub communication environment, if you can put some buildings IRS surfaces, so you can change the channel property. So these channel properties can be changed in the constructive manner or destructive manner. Okay, so whole intelligent reflecting surface, you can divide multiple surfaces, like this one is green color is representing one surface, second surface, and so on. And these surfaces can be made independent to each other, and signal can be reflected from each. So when this is a channel gain between source to IRS H1, and this is the channel G1 from IRS to destination. I'm considering this direct path is blocked between source and destination, so no direct path is exist between source and destination. So whole idea is that simple BPSK modulation scheme again I'm using. So received signal can be written as HDX. X is the transmitted symbol. HD, that is representing the direct path. Direct path is not shown. If your direct path exists, so you can write XD. And this is the indirect path via IRS. So HN is the nth surface channel, that is between source and nth reflecting surface, HN. Similarly, GN is the channel coefficient between nth IRS and destination. So this is the phi n is representing the phase of nth reflecting surface phase. Okay, here HN and GN are complex quantities, and combining all the reflecting surface signal, this can be written in this manner, and n is representing the noise. Okay, so how we will decide this phi n? If we can take the phi n is equal to psi n in the zeta n, where these are representing the phase of Hn and Gn. Hn is a complex quantity, so it has phase, and Gn is also complex quantity. Let's suppose assuming the Rayleigh fading, so it's a complex random variable, Gaussian random variable, so it has phase. So if you take the phase equal to this one, that time this phase will cancel out, so you have a real quantity, so that is equal to MRC, maximum ratio combining technique. Okay, so you can improve the signal strength at the receiver, because by combining the phase or suitably changing the phase phi n, you can make this part as a construction addition of the signal. Okay. So effective channel between source and destination can be written as this one, HD n is equal to n to capital N, Hn equal j phi n and Gn, phi n Gn. So xi can take common, then this will represent the effective channel. In this figure, I have not considered the direct path. So this is not the STBC, this is the IRS code actually. So these are number of symbols. This the m is equal to 2, so BPSK modulation, then this is the random data generated, then the symbols. N is equal to 2, that is a reflecting surface, and that is SNR from minus 30 to 20 with 2 dB increment. Then this representing the noise, there is a H1, there is a G1. L is the symbols, N is the reflecting surface, so that is a matrix. If you have N is equal to 1, then so this both reflecting surface channel is encountered in this one, H1 and G1. Then we calculated the angle. MRC I'm just using here, so that's the angle of H1 and G1. Then put the effective channel. Then you add the signal GHQ-S1. Direct path I am not considering here. So this is the path, this is a GHQ1, that is a channel. This one, this path, this is a GHQ1. So this is the received signal. Then you use the equalization technique. Then you can demodulate, then calculate the bit error rate. So by changing the value of n, you can see the performance, capital N, number of reflecting surface. So on this one here, you can see n is equal to 2, that's the black curve, n is equal to 32, that is the red curve. So you can see the more number of reflecting surface, so signal strength at the receiver is boosting because signal is combined like a constructively added at the IRS, and received signal SNR is going to improve by taking more number of reflecting surfaces. N is equal to 32. So you can see that even minus 20 dB you have a good performance. Okay, but N is equal to 2, that performance is like 20 dB. So that is a huge gap between N is equal to 2 and N is equal to 30. So that is the idea. By taking the IRS assisted communication system, we can enhance the system performance. So its energy efficiency will improve because at low SNR we can get very good system performance. So energy efficiency can be improved in the next generation wireless system using the IRS concept. So that is my whole idea, to introduce the IRS concept. Again, you can see that slope of changing. This curve is already shifted, so you have a coding gain, but slope of the curve is also changed, so you have also coding gain. So using the IRS, we can achieve both coding gain as well as the diversity gain. That depend on the number of reflecting surface, actual diversity gain and coding gain. So is any question here?
Sir, there is one question. What are the typical distances considered for IRS?
Oh, I haven't considered the distance between source and the IRS and the IRS to destination. Why I'm not considering? Because I haven't considered the path loss. So if you consider the distance, then you will consider the path loss. So that path loss equation you can add here in the simulation.
Okay.
Yeah. So you can consider the distance, then you can maximize the location of the IRS between source and destination. That is also possible.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Because path loss generally fixed, distance is fixed, then carrier frequency is fixed. So path loss term is going to fix. So that is not random. So generally we don't consider in the simulation. Only random quantities we consider in the simulation. So if no question.
No, sir, no more questions in the chat.
Or no more questions? Okay. Then I'm just showing you the last code, that is SCMA, sparse code multiple access. So I'm just giving the overview of that SCMA. I haven't prepared that PDF of that one. Sure. Next slide. So this is the idea, this load command, that is the code books. As I already told you, all users code books are pre-designed and they are assigned to each user. Then the load the code book, that is the modulation order. Then k is equal to 4 orthogonal resources and j is equal to number of six users, that is SNR. Then this I'm running the for loop. So how many errors we have to collect at each SNR. Then maximum number of iterations for the message passing algorithms. Then this is the information. Then this information is mapped to the code books column. As I already told you, that information is transmitted in terms of columns. Depending on the information, you can select the columns of code book, then you can transmit. So this information is bits is mapped to the code books column. Then this is AWG and noise. Okay, then this is H matrix, that is the channel. Okay. Then this is the received signal of all the users. I'm considering the uplink scenario. Then this is the message passing algorithm to decode the information. Then these are the bit error, how to collect the errors. So let's run the code. So I'm just running 0 to 14 dB and collecting 15 errors at each SNR. So that is the plot. I'm just showing you. Can you see this plot?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so this is the SER at y-axis and this is SNR in dB. So curve is not smooth because I've just considered only 15 errors. Generally SCMA takes time in simulation. And so I'm just considering 0 to 14 dB and 15 errors. So that's why curve is not smooth. So this again, as BR, SNR improve, SNR increases, BR improves, BR going to reduce. This way SCMA system works. Okay. So is there any question here?
Nothing in chat box, sir.
Okay. Yeah. So if you have any question, please ask. Whatever we have discussed either in morning lecture or this lecture. So
Sir, what are sparse codes and where do we use them?
for sparse codes. Sparse codes we are using because when we have a sparsity, we can use the message passing algorithm. Like LDPC codes, if you remember, LDPC codes, the structure graph generally sparse. So by using the message passing algorithm, we can get the good performance and reduce the complexity. That is the whole idea. Sparse code you can also understand in this way. CDMA generally we have ±1. These are the codes. So if we introduce the sparsity, like as sparsity helps us to reduce the complexity. Its concept came from the compressive sensing. So sparsity meaning is that only few number of elements are non-zero and mostly elements are zero. That vector or element is that generally called the sparse. So sparsity is everywhere is present. If you think in this typical way, like consider the sinusoidal signal. So sinusoidal signal, if you plot in the time domain, it is not sparse. It has all the elements except the crossing over x-axis. But if you take the DFT or FFT of the sinusoidal signal, you have only one element in the frequency domain, that is non-zero. Only one frequency component, cos 2 pi fct. So frequency domain only fc term is present at particular frequency. So we can transfer this signal, sinusoidal signal, into a sparse domain using the FFT. So this sparsity helps us to reduce the system complexity or helps us to reduce the processing power or make processing more easier. So this way we use the sparsity in literature.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Sir, one last question. Do we have any general comparison of all these codes in terms of efficiency when they are being used in application? Like, yeah, all the sparse codes or your LDPC codes, all these codes. Do we have any comparison?
Oh no, LDPC code is a channel coding, that is a different story. So we don't have any comparison because we are talking the different technologies actually. If you talk IRS mainly coming for the energy efficiency, and if you talk the NOMA technique, they are coming for the spectral efficiency. Okay, so if you want to improve both spectral efficiency and the energy efficiency, you can combine NOMA with IRS. So this way we can go, but these are the independent technologies. So comparison, I think, is not a good word for them.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Dongra sir, you would like to add something?
Hello, sir. Thank you for your lecture. And
Thank you. Thank you.
it was excellent lecture, sir. Apart from the actual discussion, I would like to what suggest you if whatever the topic you have discussed, based on that, the most of all are the faculties, most of them are working in the wireless domain or NEMO or the similar domain.
Okay.
So, and just now, as I told in the morning, we have announced a book with the Springer.
Okay.
So the participant that they wish to write a book chapter. I hope that you must have experience of writing the paper and all this. So can you suggest that with reference to your discussion that what are the various topic or the books available or the topic what the participant can go for writing a book chapter, obviously with their comfort. So can you throw some light on this topic, sir?
Actually, I'm not aware of the book topic. So first you decide the book topic. I think based on that you can decide the chapters. Especially if you.
So I'll let you know the book topic is for the undergraduate as well as postgraduate partially. And the topic is challenges application of 5G. That is the general book. So it is in general of the 5G related.
Okay.
So in that sense,
I think for that scenario, you can consider some 1 or 2 basic chapters on the digital communication. If you are just targeting undergraduate, then you can consider 1 or 2 chapter on the OFDM, because OFDM is the backbone of 4G and 5G. Okay, then 1 chapter you may consider on the NOMA. Okay, and 1 or 2 chapter you can consider on the deep learning based approach or data analytics kind of thing. Okay. Yeah. So effectively you have like a 10 or 8 chapters. So that will cover like some 2 or 3 chapters from the previous like backgrounds and the recent topics. So that will be good, I think, because recent topics like then 1 or 2 chapter you can focus on the MIME. Okay, like how we do the deduction in the MIME, all these things, minimum, mean square error estimator, zero forcing, all these things. Okay. So effectively you have 8 to 10 chapters. So maybe you can go for 12 chapters. So it's go from previous to like a past, then present, and the future. That is all three things are included.
Okay. Sir, my question was, this is what you are told editor point of view. My question was participant, that is the author point of view. Suppose anybody is not have written a book chapter till now
Okay.
and
Okay.
want to write maybe the first time or maybe the second time.
Yeah.
So in that sense, I want your opinion.
Actually, I don't have too much idea about the book chapter. I just, but my view is that if you're writing the book chapter, it should be simple, not like a paper writing. Okay. Yeah. If you write, yeah, if your authors, book chapters authors are writing like a paper, then I think it will be not good for undergraduate student. It should be simple, so that the students can easily understand. If possible, authors should also include some simulation kind of things, or the block diagrams, at least. So these things will help, and don't go too much mathematics. I think you just go to the necessary mathematics. Otherwise, just create like a difficulty in the reading. So that is my view, from a student point of view. But it includes all the things, but in the limited manner. If you're writing paper like a book chapter like a paper, then I think it's not a good idea.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much. So I request the participant that if you will make a group, or I think Mega Madam, here there is a issue with the participant that as I am not a host right now, so participants are not able to mute themselves. So can you do the setting changes that
was
allow
done.
participant to
That is already there. That
Okay.
is already there. But they are not.
Okay, they
unmuted.
are able to unmute them.
Yeah. So one more question here, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is the scope of spectrum sensing in 5G or 6G research?
Actually, I'm not too much aware of the spectrum sensing, but my view is that spectrum sensing will not help us too much in coming wireless network technology, because you can see that the spectrum sensing we continuously talking from last 20-30 years, but still no use, or less at least use. Okay. So I don't think spectrum sensing and will help out in the coming wireless network standards.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah.
So that was the end of the question.
So, madam,
Yes, sir.
can you give some time?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Now, what I would like to take some suggestion from the participant regarding the chapter. So, Biju sir is there. Biju sir, Biju Balkrishnan. Are you able to hear me? Can you unmute yourself, sir?
Sir, he has joined from his system wherein audio connection is not there, so he won't be audible to us.
Okay. He has informed. Okay. Shaheen, madam, are you able to listen me? No, she is not. Yogesh, sir. Yogesh Khandekar. Yogesh Khandekar. Okay. So, Kavita Bani, madam, is there. Kavita, madam? Can you hear me? Okay, madam, can you unmute yourself?
Hello, sir.
Okay. Hello, madam. Madam, as the discussion what we made that we are going for a book chapter, inviting a edited book on 5G, and as I hope your area is same the wireless communication and 5G. So can you comment on this, or would you like to contribute in that?
Yeah, sir, no problem. Actually, I'm working on cooperative spectrum sensing right now. So I can write something
Okay.
related to spectrum sensing.
Yes, that is great. What I'll suggest that if you can if you can collaborate with the faculty from your institute or faculty